Hi, Minesh Bakshi here. And if you are somebody, a professional today, and is looking for opportunities either to network with people, find jobs, find clients, just find resources, I will tell you the best resource, in my opinion, for professionals today is LinkedIn. And today we have a LinkedIn expert who can teach you some really interesting tricks. And I personally have been using her services, and I'm very impressed with what she can help people with. So please welcome my good friend, Heather Doering.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in.
Well, I'm really excited. You came at the right time. I had become very curious about LinkedIn. I'd gone to a class. And again, it's good information, but there were some gaps. And I found that what you provided was a lot much more insight and a lot more, I would say, practical for somebody like me who is busy, doesn't have the time, etc. So a lot of people, first of all, let's go into the basics. Some people may not even know much about LinkedIn. So what would you say to just get people introduced to what LinkedIn is?
Yeah, LinkedIn is it was the very first social media platform, even before Facebook and Twitter. And it was designed originally for people who were looking for jobs. And so I think over the years, it's held that misnomer that that's all that LinkedIn is. But now LinkedIn is the #1 business networking site in the world. And people come to LinkedIn for one of three reasons: to either look for a job, or if you're a recruiter, to find people to fill open positions, to connect with other business people for a variety of reasons, and or to learn, because LinkedIn's a great educational platform as well.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And is there a statistics, and again, I'm just putting you on the spot. I know about how many millions of people are on LinkedIn.
I actually know that because I did a workshop a couple days ago. As of September, LinkedIn reports that there are 610 million world users worldwide.
Wow, 610 million.
Yeah, million. And the United States leads the pack, followed closely by Western Europe and Australia.
Very true, very true.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you are looking for a professional, you're bound to find some way of connecting with them on LinkedIn, correct?
Yes.
We talk of 3 degrees of separation, but you and I know that's no longer the case, is it?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, if there is somebody important you want to connect with, within 2, you could definitely get that person.
Well, and that's how you and I connected.
Correct.
A friend of mine from the Plymouth Chamber, you had reached out to him, and he
Correct.
said, reach out to Heather, and here we are.
Exactly.
About 3 weeks later, right?
Exactly. So quick, right?
Yes.
It was a
yeah.
very quick, immediately we found connection. What you were offering made sense to me. So let's talk from 2 different angles, which would help people understand this. The first person is, I don't know much about LinkedIn. Where should I start? So can you give us 2-3 tips that would make sense for the newbie?
Sure. My first tip always is set your goals. Why do you think you want to be on LinkedIn? Why do you need to be on LinkedIn? And once you've determined what that is, then you can set a plan or a structure to do it. Some people, it might just be to make some new connections. And if that's your goal, you need to learn how to do that.
Correct.
Using some of the search filters and some of the opportunities that LinkedIn gives you to connect with people. But if your goal is just to follow industry leaders and influencers, then you're going to have a different approach. So I think that very first thing to do is figure out your why. And then once you've done that, figure out how much time you're willing to dedicate to that, a week or a day or whatever that looks like, because you can have the best intentions of the world, but if you don't hop onto LinkedIn and use it the way that you need to use it, you could end up in that swirling vortex of the black hole of, I've been on here for 3 hours and all I've done is look at all these great articles, right? And then I think the third piece, so once you know why you're going to be on there, once you've made a commitment to what that's going to look like in your schedule, is to execute. And, we all, again, can have the best of intentions, but if there's not a plan to do that, you're gonna end up with no success. And one thing I do want to mention, if people are Facebook business users, Facebook has an internal scheduling mechanism where you can schedule posts ahead. Okay. LinkedIn doesn't have that. So there are some third-party schedulers there are paid versions, free versions, but there are tools out there to help make people's LinkedIn useful and successful.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So let's break down into one level and the second level of use.
Sure.
So first level of use is for people who are relatively new. They are not as ambitious in their goals of LinkedIn, they want to connect with some people, maybe do some research on their own, maybe send out connection requests or messages to people on their own. They're willing to spend 15, 20 minutes a day, which I think is a reasonable amount of time to spend. So what are some of the things they could do for their profile as an example?
Yeah.
That would help them look a little bit more professional. When people look at their profile, they don't go like, who is this kid, or who is this, what kind of photograph this is. So what are a couple of things that you feel that would immediately be noticed that you can help with?
Yeah, when I do LinkedIn training, we break it into 3 areas: profile, prospecting, and proficiency. So that profile area is really important because that's your first impression.
Correct.
And when the initial thing people notice first and foremost is your picture,
Yes.
right? So you want to make sure that it's a professional picture.
Correct.
And some of the good schools of thought with pictures are shoulders and above.
Okay.
Smile with your teeth, because
Yes.
studies have shown that people that smile and show their teeth appear to be more trustworthy,
Very interesting.
which is one of those little tidbits. And then you want to make sure that that people can see you, so that there's a good contrast. If you've got darker hair, darker skin, you want a little bit lighter background or lighter clothes. If you've got lighter skin, don't go up against a white background, or you're going to
Sure.
look washed out.
Very true.
So that's your picture. The other thing people don't often know is LinkedIn gives you behind your image. It's the header, the banner image, and it looks
The one which has galaxy.
yeah, it looks like a
Everybody has
constellation.
that.
Everybody has that. You can change that, and you
Yes.
can customize that to
Yes.
match your brand, your mission, your goals, and that's a really simple thing to change out, but it's a differentiator.
Yes.
And then the third most important piece is your title.
Yes.
And that is something you can manually adjust. LinkedIn will automatically put in whatever your current job position is, but you can go in and change that so that it's about who and how you help, as opposed to what you do.
Correct.
And then the fourth most important piece of that profile, and then we can move on from that, is your summary or about section. And many people think that's a place to talk about your
Resume.
your resume or your position,
Correct.
or a laundry list of all the amazing things that you've accomplished over
Yes.
your career. Those are all important, but that is a space where you want to start to connect with people and to start to build that relationship by focusing on not about what you do, but again, who and how you help. It could be a client testimonial. It could be your clients typically struggle with these types of issues. So you want people to start to feel like you're not coming at them to sell to them, but coming at them to build a relationship.
Yeah, they want the human interest angle.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. So the simplest thing people can start with is updating their profile. Then they can also start making maybe a post a day, or follow certain type of people, make comments so that they seem engaged with the right kind of people, and form a little bit of goodwill with the people they want to build some relationship with. So those people are like, okay, this person likes me, they're showing some interest in me, and now you are building some rapport with that individual. Would that be?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we have noticed with our clients that the clients who engage with their connections, liking and commenting and sharing and things like that, their LinkedIn has an algorithm, just like all social media platforms, and that algorithm determines how many people actually get to see something that you've posted. And I won't get into all the specifics, but we've noticed that clients who engage get more visibility with their posts.
Correct.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
Very true.
Yeah.
Like, do unto others as you would want them to do to
Exactly,
you, right?
exactly.
And I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So there is a newbie who's just getting started, then there is somebody who wants to do it themselves, and they have 15, 20 minutes and they're doing some of these things. They look up the connections, they send out requests for connections, they're maybe following up with messages and stuff. So let's talk about the third level of person. This person has a much more ambitious goal. They want to reach out to a lot more people, like me and you are having
Yeah.
a relationship, right? In terms of what you are helping me achieve. And again, with the very few minutes that we have available, give me a sense of what that person is that is looking for that, like who are the people who can benefit from those kind of services, and what are a couple of things that you do for them that will ease their life, because I know I'm really grateful to your services.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So, I always tell people who say, oh, I need to be on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, and, they're listing all these social media platforms. There are over 200 out in the
Wow.
world today. You only really need to focus on the ones that are relevant to your business and to the people with whom you need to connect. So
Yes.
I tell people right away, if LinkedIn isn't where you need to be, it's okay. But for those of us who LinkedIn is a it's not only a place to build great relationships, it's a place to build business and to
Absolutely.
look for clients and referral partners and collaborative relationships and things like that. So for those people, there are a couple things. Number one is to learn how to use LinkedIn's filters so that you're finding the right people.
Very good.
LinkedIn allows you this, even the free version has
Yes.
some filtering capability. But if you're really wanting to dive into LinkedIn, I would recommend getting a Sales Navigator account because the filters in there are much more specific. You can really hone in on the quote unquote right people. And so what we do with clients is we help them use Sales Navigator in a way that takes the onus and the work off of them and really helps them create messaging and strategies to build relationships with those right people, whatever that looks like for them. And we also then create a personal branding through great posting and content strategy that not only keeps them in front of people, of their followers and connections, but it also builds their credibility and their expertise and first and then especially their visibility.
And I agree
Yeah.
with you totally on that. See,
Yeah.
one of the challenges that I have with most people who promise marketing is those people have really no interest. Maybe not the right word to use, but let's say they have very little to do with your success. They have very little to do with the results you end up getting. Now, LinkedIn, first of all, is a very direct platform. It's not about putting a billboard and hoping somebody sees the billboard.
Yeah.
It's not about, hopefully someday somebody will call me. That's not it. LinkedIn is very direct. So the first part which I like about LinkedIn and the strategies you provide are it makes that opportunity much more available because you are taking some proactive action. So let me just go through a couple of steps and anything you want to mention there. The first is you target the right people. So let's say you've identified a certain position, certain company, certain industry. You can actually target the very people you want to potentially get attention and some appointment with. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two is you can actually have an engaged conversation with those people instead of just be going there and say, hey, let me sell you, because the moment I get a request, sometimes I'm looking at the request like, oh, is this person just trying to pitch me? And I know that's not a good thing to do. So in your case, I know you do a couple of things. Number one is you provide people the initiating of the contact, the connection to the right people. Number two is you also have a follow-up messaging sequence that you provide, which builds value and connection and relationship. And then finally, maybe an offline conversation to initiate further appointment in person or phone to create a client potential. So the marketing that you provide is more, which is tangible and has actual results rather than, I hope people watch my video.
Yeah.
So tell me, just in the bottom line sense of it, like people really get results from what you do.
Yeah, we have been working in the LinkedIn space for many years, and we refined our strategy about a year ago, and we've had tremendous results with B2B professionals, salespeople, coaches, consultants, who really know that those ideals are on LinkedIn and helping them not only find them but build those relationships and build that personal brand. A lot of our clients have maybe been corporate for quite a long time, and they've got great connections but not the right connections, and they've never had to create their own marketing strategy before. So we've stepped in to do that. And one thing that you had mentioned, not going for the sale right away, that is really important for any social platform that you're on. They were created to build relationships, all of them, to build community. So none of us want anyone to do that to us. So like you said, do unto others, right? So just be really thoughtful about your approach to people, and also for messaging and things like that, I encourage people to filter that through the lens. If this was coming at me, how would I feel? Would this be icky, or would this be something that would be beneficial and it would make me interested and want to keep reading?
Very good
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So how do people get hold of you, Heather?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Heather Doering, my name is up there.
Yes.
And my company is called Ace Strategies, and that URL was being held hostage when we rebranded last year. So our website is kickacestrategies.com. So Heather at kickacestrategies.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What a pleasure. Thanks again
Thank
for
you
taking
so
the time.
much.
And I know time just flew by, but
Yeah.
again, you're a master at what you do. And on top of it, I've been very interested. So I'm so excited about LinkedIn as well. So thanks, Heather, for coming. Thanks again for watching. And if you need more information, please feel free to contact Heather for a great strategy session with you. Good luck.